Hello there, everyone. Welcome to this conspiracy theory that I have. You know who I am, E.T. Templar, alien crusader from beyond the heavens, here to entertain and destroy through the power of me magic. So before I even get into this, there are people who break the mold of the examples I'm about to give. There are people who excel above their situation and station in life and are good people. But I'm just talking in a general sense here, and this theory applies to many cultures, races. So do not take this as a racist thing. This is just me talking about the conspiracy theory. So the first one is the people in power, call it the Illuminati, the consortium, or even the music industry, in which I'm not blaming all music, rap or hip hop or anything else. I'm just using it as an example. So these groups and peoples push moral decay, drug use, alcoholism, and promiscuity to break up the nuclear family. Because if you don't know what a nuclear family is, of course, it is the mother and the father. These are two pieces of the puzzle that help children develop. There's the firm, guided hand of the father who disciplines, and there is the nurturing, caring side of the mother. And with both of these things combined, it is a family unit. It's solid. This can raise good children, from children to good young adults, from young adults to good fathers and mothers themselves. So the Illuminati, or whoever is running this conspiracy theory, they use moral decay, drug use, alcoholism, promiscuity to create dependency on drugs, alcohol, or even sex, right? So this will shatter the nuclear family, which without a father, you don't have that firm disciplining hand, or without the mother, you don't have that nurturing reinforcement. So you have children with one piece of the puzzle, and this does them a disservice. And so this leads to part two: crime, disorder, chaos, the criminal system, jail. Nothing is never their fault, and this could even be bad education. And they will take up the idea that they're a victim of society, that everything is everyone else's fault, that their own situation and actions is never their fault. They are the permanent victim. And with this, it shreds them of any real moral system or character in which they can get out of this chaos cycle that I'm speaking of. And third, finally, they finally have kids. They follow the same misguided life learning, and their children follow this same set. They fall into the moral decay, drug use, alcoholism, and promiscuity, and leads to crime, being in the criminal system. So basically, what I'm saying is there's powers that be, and that want to destroy the idea of the nuclear family, because once that has been separated, then both can be controlled. Both groups, no matter what situation, father left, mother left, the situation remains that these children will fall into the just general education system, which of course is nothing but brainwashing centers and childcare. And later, when they're 18, 19, high school, then essentially it's just young adult childcare. So this is where the cultural Marxism kicks in. This is where they teach them that everything's their fault. They're a part of a system that has been set against them from the start, that it's always someone else's fault. And ergo, they don't have to be held accountable for their shitty actions, their behavior, or their own criminal actions. And most of these people will fall victim to police violence, or they'll fall victim to gang violence, and then they will blame the gang or the society, or they'll blame the police. And of course, these people fall into their own rabid ignorance, and which of course leads to rioting. And because they didn't have a father and a mother to teach them that specific things were wrong and bad, or their education wasn't decent enough or proper enough, they fall into the idea that rioting and crime is, again, not their fault, it's someone else's fault, and they have to do these things to survive. They've been warped to believe this, and they carry this on. Now, again, to preface what I said in the beginning, this isn't the case for everyone. There are many examples of people who excel and break the mold of this chaos cycle. And it doesn't matter white, Asian, African American, Indian, Punjabi, Chinese, no matter what racist group or group we're talking about here, people do break the mold. But it's just what I've seen and observed recently. It's just scary to me. And even when you look at the BLM credo or manifesto, it is the destruction of the nuclear family. So their mission statement is to openly create broken families and households so they can become victims, so they can fall into an ignorant way of thinking that will just degenerate into a worse and worse situation. And the powers that be, cultural Marxism, they don't want children to be raised by a mother and father. They want children to be raised by an education system in which they can be indoctrinated and taught things easily controlled, manipulated. And we've already seen this with the idealisms of social justice, Marxism, communism, right? They create this false idea that everyone's a victim, everyone's been brutalized, and that it's always someone else's fault. And again, not to say this for the 10th time, after that, then they can just point at another group and say, it's their fault I'm like this. It's their fault I'm acting out. It's their fault. And that's the whole goal of cultural Marxism and communism, is to separate children from the father and mother, in a way to indoctrinate them into a special way of thinking. And then with this, they use this as a targeted system against other groups that's a threat to communism, cultural Marxism, and destroy those groups. And of course, communists and socialists are under the impression that because they're destroying other groups or elements and adversaries to communism, socialism, that it's somehow justified. You will see here on YouTube this very platform justify the purge and the Red Terror of Russia, the mass extinction of ethnic groups, the kulaks, the execution of the bourgeoisie. They will say that this was a good thing because it was in the name of everyone and the victim. But yet, this is all circumstantial and an unfortunate coincidence and side effect to the progressive road to communism. Of course, we all know communism doesn't work, and this is just a system, again, designed to set up to fail, so that there's a special group of elitist and corrupt people who do have a father and mother, who do have good education, to keep others in chaos and disorder. And that's my theory to the chaos cycle. And maybe it doesn't make any sense, but it was just something in my head that I wanted to share in a video. Maybe I'm talking out my ass. Maybe I'm right. If so, I'd like to know your guys' opinion on this in the comments down below. And drop a like or dislike, subscribe if you haven't already. And that's, just maybe a schizophrenic conspiracy theory. But from what I've seen, just generally in public and society, it terrifies me to think that this shit's actually happening. And it's not just with, well, you get my point. I don't need to spell this out. If you're a smart cookie, you can look into this and see where this cycle of chaos is being implemented. See you guys next time. God bless. Stay safe. Stay happy. Stay healthy.